Alright, so E3 2016 is officially over. It's time to have a look back and see the top 10 biggest announcements of this year.
Number 10.
We Happy Few was announced during Microsoft's conference as part of their game preview program. It's going to be available on Xbox, PC and Mac. It's set in a 1960s dystopian England where seemingly all of its inhabitants are drug-fueled lunatics.
You're basically coming off drugs and everybody else is on drugs and they think you're the weird one. I can picture that being quite fun.
The trailer looked great and freakishly twisted. It's going to be available on the Xbox Game Preview Program and Steam Early Access on July 26th this year, so we can't wait for that.
You are off your joy.
Number 9.
One of many PlayStation 4 exclusives announced during Sony's conference, this one shows real promise. Now, we're all aware of the disappointing subpar rubbish that seems to linger around movie superhero tie-ins, but for once we can actually be excited for one. Most importantly perhaps is that it's being developed by Insomniac Games, who of course are behind the Ratchet & Clank series and the recent Sunset Overdrive. They've allied once more with PlayStation, and from the looks of the trailer it comes across as a passion project, something they're pushing a lot of time and effort into making something they can be proud of rather than churning out a movie tie-in game which we're all too used to seeing.
Number 8.
Frank West is back in a welcome return to the Dead Rising franchise. They just keep getting better and better, so I'm sure they'll step it up yet again. Expect more mayhem and more craziness when Dead Rising 4 releases on December the 6th for Xbox One and Windows under Microsoft's new Play Anywhere strategy, where if you buy it on one format, you'll get to play it on both. I can't wait to see what new weapons we'll get to play around with in Dead Rising 4. Playing this on co-op with my fellow Pixel Freak, that's going to be super fun.
Number 7.
Another one announced during the Microsoft conference, another game for their Play Anywhere strategy, and yes, another zombie game. You seem to like this one, Eamon, right?
I know it's another zombie game, and zombie games are like, just so many of them are out. But I do like the look of this one, just because the story looks half decent, the graphics look half decent. Combine them two together, you've got a decent game.
Yeah, and I reckon it offers something different, new and exciting with a 4-player drop-in, drop-out co-op, which can be played offline as well as online. The trailer was intriguing, and I wonder if they'll have some sort of settlement management mechanic, as they seem to hint at that in the trailer. This zombie apocalypse survival RPG has me really excited for its PIN 2017 release.
Number 6.
Yep, it's another zombie game, and Days Gone looks very similar to State of Decay 2 in that it's a post-apocalyptic zombie open-world survival adventure. In fact, it'd be hard to tell the two games apart from their trailers. Despite all that, it's hard not to be excited for Days Gone. After seeing the trailer, its swarms of freakers, as they call their zombies, look relentless and perhaps more frightening and challenging than its other zombie game cousins, as it looks like in this game they'll be the ones swarming you, rather than you just ploughing through them. I just hope that they don't make it too easy. I mean, Eamon, you weren't too fond of the looks of this one, were you? You were saying that it's just looks a bit too simple and that it doesn't really seem to offer anything new for you. Is that fair to say?
I have nothing to say about Days Gone, mate. Yeah.
A man of few words, but in those few words is some ruthlessness. And maybe some truth. I could understand why some people might be a little bit wary about hyping themselves up a bit too much for this one, as if it's not in the right hands, this could just turn into another zombie game. I would hope not though. Sony seem to be riding along on this one as they started and finished with this during their conference. It's a PlayStation 4 exclusive of course, but no release date as of yet.
Number 5.
Another one for the PlayStation crowd. Now this one really had me paying attention to the trailer. It made me notice God of War for the first time. You can see God of War is clearly going to be impressive, but the trailer also seems to show off a bond between the lead character and his son. If they can achieve the kind of relationship we saw between Ellie and Joel in The Last of Us, then God of War is going to be something quite special. Again, no release date, and I expect this to be quite a way off yet, but it's definitely something to get excited for.
Number 4.
Okay, so very little was actually revealed about this brand new IP, but when you have Hideo Kojima at the helm of a new project, it will naturally garner a lot of attention, and rightly so. There was a lot of mystery concerning his departure from Konami and the cancelled Silent Hills game, so when Kojima came on the stage and announced he's working on Death Stranding and starring Norman Reedus, it's not very surprising that the crowd reacted so favourably. Now don't ask, but Eamon's apparently got through his gaming life without once hearing of Hideo Kojima.
If the graphics look as good as what they do in that little clip, and if them game creators are just as good as Aish is making them out to be, I may possibly buy this game.
So for me, Death Stranding for PlayStation 4 was perhaps one of the biggest game announcements from Sony, and E3 as a whole.
Number 3.
Okay, I'm sorry Aish, I know you're going to hate me for saying this, but I have never ever played any other Resident Evil game before, ever.
What?
I know you're a big fan of them,
How have you never played Resident Evil?
but just because I've never played one before doesn't mean I don't intend to. If I can get a PlayStation, a VR headset, this will probably be the first game that I buy, because it looks like it would just scare the complete out of me. It just looks fun, and I like being scared.
I'm just amazed that you'd never played a Resident Evil game before. Seriously, I'm actually impressed. But anyway, for me, Resident Evil 7 wins Best in Show at E3, at least in terms of games. What excites me is that Capcom look to have taken a step back to rethink what Resident Evil should be about. What made Resident Evil 1 so scary when it was released some 20 years ago? It seems they lost that magic over the years, especially with the very disappointing Resident Evil 6, where they went for action and guns over what it should be about, suspense, fear and horror. I'm happy that they're going back to their roots, at least in that sense. Perhaps the recent remaster helped them earn some valuable lessons, who knows. They look to be taking a whole new direction in Resident Evil 7. For one, it's in first person rather than third person, and you couldn't have guessed the trailer was for Resident Evil game. What really excites me is that it will feature full VR support. It will be released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC, and a demo is available right now on the PlayStation 4, so go download it, play it, and let me know what you think, because I don't have a PlayStation 4 at the moment, but I'll definitely be getting one just for this game, you can be sure of that.
Number 2.
There were a ton of new VR games announced for Sony's new virtual reality headset. In fact, VR featured rather heavily at this year's E3. Mainstream console VR is only around the corner, and we now have a date. The cost though you might not look forward to quite so much. So October the 13th, 2016 is the date for your calendars. So start saving now, because it's going to set you back $399. For us in the UK, that's going to probably be not far off that price tag, so £350 to £400 I would imagine. So it ain't cheap. But from what I've seen, it certainly looks worth breaking the bank for. Tell me you think so too, Eamon, right?
I would love to get the PlayStation and the VR for the PlayStation, just because they said they're going to have 50 games out for it by the time it's released, which is brilliant, because normally when you get something like an Xbox Kinect came out, there wasn't very many games that came out with that.
Connect, dirty word.
So it's decent that they're going to have games out for it.
Yeah, for sure, 50 games in the launch window is brilliant. It shows they're putting real support behind the VR, and not just treating it as a gimmick. Though I suspect many of those 50 games in the launch window will probably be more tech demos than anything else. But one thing's for sure, the future looks bright for virtual reality right now.
Number 1.
So, we're at number 1, the biggest announcement from E3, in my opinion. But remember, this list is for the biggest announcement of E3 2016, not necessarily the best announcements. So I had to put the announcement of not one, but 2 new consoles from Microsoft at the top of my list. Quite why they announced 2 at once seemed a bit of a strange move to me, and maybe quite a risky move by Microsoft. By announcing both in succession at one event, they kind of steal each other's thunder a bit. Having said that, the specs for Project Scorpio do look impressive. I guess we're going to have to wait and see if the gaming industry is ready for this kind of thing, where we get 2 consoles in one life cycle. But I'm pretty confident there are going to be plenty of people who are going to want to upgrade, just to get the very best out of their games. So Microsoft have showed their hand at E3 2016, we're yet to hear from Sony about the PlayStation 4.5, and I can imagine they're going to be announcing that pretty soon, perhaps at Gamescom, who knows. But anyway, I hope you understand why we put this one at the top of the list. We feel it's the biggest shock, the biggest surprise announcement. Let us know if you don't feel the same way, leave a comment for us. We'd love to hear what your favourite games were of E3 2016, what you're stoked about, what you're excited for. Leave us a comment, let us know. But for now, we're Pixel Freaks, so check you later.